Admiral Taewon looked out at the stars from the command deck of his ship, the Eternal Victory. The coalition fleet spread around him like a metal garden, ships gleaming under the distant sun. After 30 years of military service, victories came easy to him now. This small blue planet called Earth would be no different. "Status report," he ordered, his voice firm but calm. Commander Juri checked her console. "Earth's defense fleet approaches, Admiral. 17 vessels, mostly small. Our scans show primitive shielding and outdated weapons." Taewon nodded with satisfaction. Another simple conquest for the unified galactic coalition. Intelligence had classified Earth as a young civilization, barely able to reach their own moon 50 years ago. Their rapid advancement had caught the coalition's attention, but not their concern. "Prepare the standard greeting," Taewon said with a slight smile. The greeting was always the same, a show of overwhelming force followed by terms of surrender. The Earth vessels approached in tight formation. They were small compared to coalition cruisers, with uneven hull designs that suggested hasty construction. Their weapon systems looked like they belonged in a museum. "They're hailing us," reported Communications Officer Hanbin. "Put them through," Taewon said, straightening his uniform. A human face appeared on screen. "This is Captain Daehyun of Earth Defense Force. We know why you've come. We ask you to reconsider." Taewon almost laughed. "Your species has been observed for decades. The coalition requires your resources and strategic position. Surrender now and your population will be treated according to coalition protocols." The human captain's face showed no fear. "We cannot accept those terms." "Then you leave us no choice," Taewon replied, ending the transmission with a wave of his hand. Begin the demonstration. Coalition ships moved forward with practiced precision. Their weapons charged, glowing with energy as they targeted the Earth vessels. The first shots cut through space, striking the lead Earth ship. Its shields flared briefly before failing. "Their shields collapsed after just 2 hits, reported Weapons Officer Min Jae. "Primitive technology, as expected." The battle, if it could be called that, lasted less than 20 minutes. Earth's ships fought with determination but could not match coalition technology. One by one they were disabled or destroyed, their wreckage floating in Earth's orbit. "Minimal damage to our vessels," Commander Juri confirmed. 3 minor hits reported. "No casualties." Taewon nodded. "Send the occupation fleet." Standard protocols. Later, in his private quarters, Taewon recorded his victory. Earth Conquest, Day 1. Minimal resistance encountered. Their military technology is at least 2 centuries behind ours. Occupation should proceed without complications. He took a moment to study the data from the battle. Something bothered him, though he couldn't place it. The humans had fought bravely but without sophistication. Their ships had fallen quickly, as expected. Perhaps too quickly? He dismissed the thought. After conquering 17 worlds, he knew how this worked. Sometimes the conquered fought hard, sometimes they surrendered immediately. Earth had chosen a symbolic resistance, nothing more. Deep within Jupiter's atmosphere, hidden from coalition sensors, a very different scene unfolded. In a massive station concealed by the gas giant storms, Fleet Commander Sunmi watched the battle recordings with her senior staff. "The coalition took the bait perfectly," she said. "All sensor drones performed as expected." The room around her hummed with activity. Officers monitored screens showing coalition ship positions, weapons capabilities, and communication frequencies. Every shot fired against Earth's decoy fleet had revealed crucial information about coalition technology. "Did we lose anyone?" Sunmi asked. "No, Commander," replied Captain Jiho. "All pilots ejected safely. The drone ships contained no actual crews." Sunmi nodded with satisfaction. "And the coalition believes they've seen our entire defense capability?" "Yes," confirmed Intelligence Officer Yi Jun, "their communications indicate they're proceeding with standard occupation protocols. They have no idea about the Dreadnoughts." Behind them, on a massive screen, 7 huge vessels appeared. The Dreadnoughts had been humanity's secret project for decades, hidden from both Earth's general population and Coalition scouts. Each was larger than anything in the Coalition fleet, built inside Jupiter's moons and equipped with technologies the Coalition couldn't imagine.
How long until they reach Earth orbit? Sunmi asked.
Approximately 14 hours, replied Navigation Officer Sujin.
Sunmi smiled coldly.
Perfect. Let them celebrate their victory a little longer.
Prepare all dreadnoughts for combat. The real battle hasn't even begun.
3 days passed since the Coalition's easy victory over Earth's forces.
Admiral Taewon stood on the bridge of the Eternal Victory, watching as the occupation ships moved toward Earth.
The blue planet looked peaceful from orbit, its swirling white clouds hiding the civilization about to change forever.
Occupation ships report ready for atmospheric entry, Commander Jury said.
Ground teams prepared for first contact procedures. Taewon nodded with satisfaction. Another smooth conquest for the records.
Begin the landing sequence.
Around him, the bridge crew worked calmly.
Conquering planets had become routine for the Coalition.
Earth would soon join the 17 other worlds under their control. "Sir," called Lieutenant Hyun Ki from the sensor station. His voice shook slightly. "I'm detecting unusual energy readings behind Earth's moon."
Taewon frowned. What kind of readings?
Massive power signatures.
Nothing like what we saw from Earth before.
They're enormous. The main screen shifted to show the far side of Earth's moon.
At first, nothing seemed unusual.
Then dark shapes moved against the stars, growing larger as they emerged from hiding.
Ships. Massive ships. Impossible, whispered Jury. 7 colossal vessels moved into formation.
Each dwarfed the Coalition's largest cruisers. Their black hulls absorbed light rather than reflected it, making them look like moving holes in space. Only the glowing blue lines along their sides revealed their true size.
"Full alert!"
Taewon ordered, his calm shattered.
"Battle stations."
The Coalition fleet scrambled to respond.
Weapons powered up. Shields activated.
But confusion slowed them down. These ships matched nothing in their intelligence reports. "Sir, the largest vessel is hailing us," reported Communications Officer Hanbin.
Taewon hesitated, then nodded. "Put it through." The screen showed a woman in a dark uniform.
Her face was calm, almost amused.
"Admiral Taewon. I am Commander Sunmi of Earth Defense Force.
3 days ago, you destroyed what you believed was our entire fleet."
"You were wrong." "What trickery is this?" Taewon demanded. "Our intelligence was exactly what we wanted you to see," Sunmi interrupted.
"The ships you destroyed were unmanned drones, designed to test your capabilities while hiding our true strength."
Taewon's mind raced. It couldn't be true.
Earth was a young civilization. These ships would take decades to build.
"Scans complete," reported Science Officer Kiho, his voice tight with fear. "These vessels are unlike anything in our database.
Each one is approximately 5 kilometers in length. Energy readings suggest power sources far beyond our technology." On the screen, Commander Sunmi continued.
"We call these the Dreadnought class. This one is the Sovereign. Say hello to her sisters, Reckoning, Thunderstrike, Judgment, Retribution, Absolution, and Nemesis."
As she named each ship, they moved forward, spreading out to surround the Coalition fleet. Their movement was impossibly graceful for vessels so large.
"Coalition ships moving into defensive formation," reported Jury.
"But sir, we're outnumbered in firepower, if not in vessels."
"How?"
Taewon asked, staring at the screen.
"How did you build these without our knowledge?"
"We detected your scout ships decades ago," Sunmi replied.
"We've been watching us.
While you saw what we wanted on Earth, we built our true fleet in the shadow of Jupiter and its moons."
On the Sovereign, Sunmi turned to her tactical officer. "Begin Phase 2. The Dreadnoughts activated their weapons systems. On their hulls, sections slid open to reveal massive cannons. Blue energy gathered at their tips. "They're targeting our ships," shouted Lieutenant Hyun Ki. "Evasive maneuvers," Tae-won ordered. "Return fire." Coalition ships scattered, firing their weapons at the Earth vessels.
Their energy beams struck the dreadnoughts but seemed to vanish into their dark hulls without effect.
"No damage to enemy vessels," reported Weapons Officer Min Jae. "It's like our weapons are being absorbed." The dreadnoughts fired. Not the wild destruction Tae-won expected, but precise shots that struck coalition ships in specific locations. Engines died. Weapon systems went offline. Communications failed. "They're not trying to destroy us," Juri realized. "They're disabling us."
On his command chair, Tae-won watched his mighty fleet become helpless in minutes. The ship shuddered as a precise hit disabled their main engines.
"All fleet captains," he said into the emergency channel. "Hold your positions. Cease fire."
The Eternal Victory drifted powerless, surrounded by the 7 massive Earth vessels.
On the screen, Commander Sunmi smiled. "Now, Admiral Tae-won, about those terms of surrender."
"I believe you'll find our conditions quite reasonable, considering the circumstances. After all, Earth prefers potential allies to conquered subjects." Around them, the silent Leviathans waited, their very presence changing the balance of power in the galaxy forever.
The Coalition battleship Unyielding Dominance fired its main cannons at the Earth dreadnought Thunderstrike. Captain Jiho watched calmly as the energy beams struck his ship's hull, dissipating harmlessly across its surface.
"Their weapons are at full power," reported his tactical officer.
"No damage to our systems."
On the command deck of the Thunderstrike, 50 officers worked in coordinated silence. Unlike the chaotic coalition vessels now scrambling to regroup, Earth's crews operated with practiced precision.
Years of training for this exact scenario were now paying off.
"Target their propulsion systems only," Jiho ordered.
"Disable, don't destroy."
The Thunderstrike fired a series of narrow blue beams. Each struck a coalition vessel at exactly the same spot, the junction between their engine housing and main hull.
One by one, the enemy ships went dark, their engines failing with surgical precision.
Aboard the crippled Eternal Victory, Admiral Tae-won stared in disbelief at his tactical display. Half his fleet drifted powerless in space, while the rest struggled to coordinate a defense.
"How are they doing this?" he demanded. "Their targeting is impossible."
Commander Juri analyzed the data streaming across her screen. "Sir, they're hitting the same exact point on each ship, the shield junction at Section 7. That's our weakest point, but that information is classified at the highest levels. They know our ships better than we do," Tae-won realized with growing dread. When a second wave of precise strikes disabled the weapons systems on his remaining vessels, Tae-won knew the battle was lost. Not a single coalition ship had been destroyed, but none could fight back.
On the science deck of the Earth dreadnought Nemesis, Science Director Sang-hoon monitored the Coalition's communications.
Their encryption had been broken years ago, when Earth first detected their scout ships entering the solar system. "They're trying to adapt their shield frequencies," he told his team. "Adjust our targeting systems to compensate." A young officer looked up from her station.
"How did we know so much about their technology?" Sang-hoon smiled. "Patience.
For 30 years, we collected data on every coalition ship that passed through our system.
We built our dreadnoughts specifically to counter their capabilities."
He pointed to a display showing the internal structure of a coalition vessel.
"See this power distribution system? It creates a harmonic resonance at 15.3 GHz. Our weapons are tuned to exactly that frequency." The Nemesis shuddered slightly as it absorbed another coalition blast.
"Their weapons are powerful," Sang-hoon acknowledged, "but power means nothing without precision."
Admiral Tae-won received the damage reports with growing horror.
No casualties yet, but his fleet was effectively neutralized.
The Coalition prided itself on superior technology, yet these Earth vessels were making his ships look primitive. "Sir," said Communications Officer Hanbin, "we're being hailed again by the Earth Commander." Sun Mi's face appeared on screen. Admiral, this demonstration has gone far enough. Your ships are disabled but your crews are safe. I suggest you accept the reality of your situation. Taewon's pride wanted to refuse, but his duty to his crew won out. What do you want? First, an explanation, Sun Mi replied. Those primitive ships you destroyed 3 days ago? Unmanned drones designed to record your weapons signatures, shield frequencies, and tactical patterns. They transmitted everything we needed to know before they were destroyed.
Behind her, Taewon could see Earth officers analyzing Coalition technology in real time.
One screen showed the exact shield modulation his ships were currently using.
You've been studying us, he said.
For decades, Sun Mi confirmed.
When your scouts first entered our system, we detected them despite their stealth technology. Instead of announcing ourselves, we watched and learned. Every Coalition ship that passed near Earth was scanned and analyzed. On the Thunderstrike, Captain Jiho received new targeting data. The Coalition flagship is attempting to restart their engines.
Disable their auxiliary power. A precise shot hit the Eternal Victory's secondary power core.
The lights on Taewon's bridge dimmed as emergency systems activated. Sir, reported Engineering Officer Min-soo, they somehow knew exactly where our backup systems are located.
No one could be that precise without detailed schematics of our ship. The truth dawned on Taewon. They don't just know our technology. They've improved upon it. Commander Sun Mi confirmed his suspicion.
While your Coalition explored outward, humanity looked inward. We didn't build more ships, we built better ones. Quality over quantity. She gestured to someone off-screen, and suddenly, the dead systems on the Eternal Victory came back online, but Taewon's crew no longer had control.
We've overridden your command systems, Sun Mi explained.
Your weapons remain offline, but life support and communications are restored. Admiral Taewon, conqueror of 17 worlds, sat back in his command chair. For the first time in his career, he faced not just defeat, but complete technological superiority.
What happens now? He asked quietly.
Now, Sun Mi replied, we talk about a very different future than the one your Coalition planned.
Admiral Taewon stood at the viewport of the Earth Dreadnought Sovereign, watching his crippled fleet drift in Earth's orbit. Coalition procedure for conquered enemies was clear: destroy their military capabilities completely, then subjugate the population. Yet these humans had done something unexpected.
They had won decisively but killed almost no one. Your crew must be wondering why they're still alive, Commander Sun Mi said, approaching from behind. Taewon turned to face her.
In your position, I would have destroyed us all. We know.
We studied 17 Coalition conquests.
You leave no military opposition alive. The meeting room was simple yet elegant, with a large table made from real wood, a luxury in space.
Earth officers moved about efficiently, but without the rigid formality of Coalition forces.
They seemed more relaxed, yet no less professional.
You could have annihilated us with your first strike, Taewon said.
Why didn't you? Sun Mi gestured for him to sit. Would you like the practical reason or the philosophical one?
Both.
Practically, dead enemies tell no tales.
Your crews have valuable knowledge. Your ships contain technology we might find useful. She poured 2 cups of steaming liquid tea, Taewon recognized. Philosophically, our history taught us the value of restraint.
Taewon accepted the cup but didn't drink. Explain. Humans spent centuries fighting each other before reaching space.
We nearly destroyed ourselves many times.
Each war taught us something. Sun Mi sipped her tea.
The victories that lasted weren't won through annihilation, but through reconciliation.
Enemies became allies when shown respect. Coalition protocol labeled this weakness, but Taewon couldn't deny the effectiveness of Earth's approach.
Their victory had been total yet measured.
On the medical deck of the Sovereign, Coalition wounded received treatment alongside Earth personnel. Captain Heechul, the Earth medical officer, moved between beds with practiced efficiency.
Your technology is remarkable, said Coalition Science Officer Kiho, watching an Earth doctor use a small device to heal a wound without leaving a scar.
Medical science was our priority long before space travel, HFY replied. We value life, all life.
Kehoe had expected torture, not treatment.
Even enemy life? Today's enemy, tomorrow's potential friend. HFY smiled. That's the Earth way. Back in the meeting room, Sunmi activated a holographic display showing Coalition territory. 17 conquered worlds. All governed through fear and force.
It works, Taewon stated flatly.
For how long? Your resources stretch thin.
Each new conquest requires more ships to maintain control.
Taewon couldn't argue.
The Coalition Council had been concerned about their expansion rate for years. There's another path, Sunmi continued.
Cooperation. Mutual benefit.
Pretty words from the victor, Taewon said bitterly.
Sunmi's expression hardened. We could have destroyed your fleet. Invaded your central worlds. We have the technology.
Instead, we offer partnership.
Why should I believe you? Look around you, Admiral. Your crew receives medical treatment, not interrogation. Your ships are disabled, not destroyed. Actions speak louder than words.
In the prisoner quarters, Coalition Commander Juri spoke with Earth Captain Jiho. Unlike the bare cells used for Coalition prisoners, these rooms were comfortable, almost like guest quarters.
Our intelligence said your civilization was primitive, Juri admitted. Jiho smiled.
Sometimes appearing weak is the greatest strength.
The Coalition saw what we wanted you to see.
But these dreadnoughts, they must have taken decades to build.
They did.
While your scouts observed our commercial ships and civilian infrastructure, we built our real fleet in secret.
Why not use them to expand?
Take other worlds?
Jiho looked puzzled. Why would we want other worlds? Earth needs partners, not subjects. The question made Juri think. The Coalition's endless expansion had seemed inevitable, the only path forward.
This alternative viewpoint disturbed her deeply.
Admiral Taewon now stood in the massive hangar bay of the Sovereign, watching Earth crews work on Coalition vessels.
Rather than stripping them for parts, they were making repairs. You're fixing our ships, he observed with surprise.
Sunmi nodded. We'll return them to you. After you've studied our technology. We already understand your technology, Admiral. We've had decades to analyze it. Taewon finally began to understand. This restraint, it's not weakness. It's strategy. It's both strategy and principle, Sunmi corrected.
Throughout human history, our most destructive moments taught us our greatest lessons. We learned that true strength lies not in how much damage you can inflict, but in how much you can withhold. She guided him to a viewport overlooking Earth, beautiful, blue, and whole. When we developed the power to destroy ourselves, we discovered the wisdom not to. When we built ships that could annihilate yours, we chose a better path.
The Coalition Council won't understand this approach, Taewon warned.
Then help them understand, Sunmi suggested.
Start by taking a message back to them. What message? That Earth doesn't want subjects or territory.
We want peace, trade, and exchange of knowledge. And we're willing to enforce that peace if necessary. As Taewon looked at the dreadnoughts surrounding his crippled fleet, the implicit threat was clear.
Earth's restraint was a choice, not a limitation.
And in that choice lay a power greater than any weapon. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension. Representatives from 87 worlds filled the chamber, their voices a mix of languages and electronic translations. At the center stood a circular platform where Earth's representative would soon address the assembly. 6 months had passed since the Coalition's defeat at Earth.
News had spread quickly across the galaxy. Coalition officials tried to control the story, but too many witnesses had seen the massive Earth dreadnoughts. Too many communication officers had intercepted the battle reports.
They say these humans disabled an entire Coalition battle group without destroying a single ship, whispered a delegate from the mineral-rich Proxima worlds.
Impossible, replied his companion. No one defeats the coalition.
The chamber quieted as three figures entered. Two wore coalition military uniforms, Admiral Tae-won and Commander Juri.
Between them walked a human in a simple blue suit.
Presenting Minho, Earth representative, announced the council speaker.
Minho stepped onto the platform.
He was shorter than many alien delegates expected, with a calm face that showed no nervousness despite the historic moment. Honored Council, he began, his voice clear.
Earth thanks you for this opportunity to address the galaxy's oldest governing body.
In the front row, the Coalition Supreme Commander leaned toward his aide.
This is a mistake. We should never have allowed this. Minho continued.
For centuries, the galaxy has operated under the belief that expansion requires conquest.
That strength means domination.
Earth proposes a different path. Behind him, a holographic display activated, showing Earth's solar system. The image zoomed out to reveal neighboring stars, then farther to encompass the local cluster.
The universe is vast. Resources abundant.
There is no need to take from others what can be gathered from empty systems, developed through cooperation, or created through innovation. On the outer rim of the chamber, representatives from worlds conquered by the coalition listened intently. Hope flickered in eyes that had known only subjugation for generations. Earth's dreadnoughts were built not for conquest but for protection, Minho explained.
We knew the coalition's pattern. We prepared accordingly.
The hologram shifted to show one of Earth's massive vessels. Several coalition delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. But military power alone creates nothing of value.
Earth offers something better, partnership.
In orbit around a distant coalition colony world, the Earth Dreadnought Absolution hovered alongside local ships. Captain Na-young watched from her command chair as Earth engineers helped the colony repair damage from a recent solar storm. Their power grid is functioning again, reported her chief engineer. The hospital has full capacity restored.
Na-young nodded with satisfaction.
When they had arrived 2 weeks ago, the colonists had feared an invasion. Now they watched in amazement as Earth crews worked alongside their own people. Captain, called her communications officer, the colonial governor wishes to speak with you. The governor's weathered face appeared on screen.
Captain Na-young, I don't understand.
The coalition abandoned us after the storm. They said repairs would take months.
Why are you helping us?
Because we can, Na-young replied simply. Earth believes in mutual support. The coalition told us your people were dangerous barbarians.
Na-young smiled.
Judge us by our actions, not their words.
Back in the council chamber, Minho was concluding his address.
Earth proposes a new galactic accord.
Free trade between willing partners. Cultural exchange. Scientific collaboration. Military action only in defense, never conquest.
The coalition supreme commander stood. Pretty words from a species that holds 7 planet killer ships. You speak of peace while threatening war. Minho turned to face him directly. Our dreadnoughts have never destroyed a habitable world.
Can the coalition make the same claim? The chamber went silent.
Everyone knew of the coalition's destruction of the Centauri homeworld a decade earlier, when they refused to surrender. Earth extends its protection to any world that wishes it, Minho continued.
Not as subjects, but as allies.
Whispers erupted across the chamber.
The coalition delegation conferred urgently among themselves. Admiral Tae-won, once Earth's enemy, stepped forward.
4 months he had struggled with what he had witnessed at Earth.
Power coupled with restraint, strength without cruelty.
I once commanded the fleet that attempted to conquer Earth, he said, his voice carrying across the silent chamber.
I expected to die there. Instead, I learned something valuable. He looked at his former superiors, then at Minho. The coalition's way is not the only way. Perhaps not even the best way.
The coalition supreme commander's face darkened with anger.
You forget your oath, Admiral.
My oath was to protect our people, Tae-won replied. I believe Earth's proposal does that better than endless war.
3 weeks later, the first diplomatic summit between Earth and 17 formerly hostile worlds began on neutral ground. Coalition representatives attended reluctantly, their influence visibly diminished.
Minho watched as former enemies engaged in cautious but productive discussions. Beside him stood Commander Sunmi, now Earth's military liaison to the emerging alliance. A good beginning, she observed.
Just a beginning, Minho replied. Old habits die hard. The coalition still controls many worlds. But their monopoly on power is broken, Sunmi said.
And they know the Dreadnoughts watch.
Minho smiled. The irony is, we never wanted to use them.
Sometimes the greatest power is in choosing not to use the power you have, Sunmi replied.
Earth's greatest weapon was never our ships. It was our perspective.
Around them, the galaxy's future was being rewritten not with weapons of war, but with words of peace, backed by the silent promise of 7 Earth Dreadnoughts.